going to be a long time before I can look at sausage the same way again, I'll tell you that right now.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba.
Hello, homies. Welcome to Thumb Together TV. My name is Andrew Fantasia, and today we're going to be talking about Succession Season 2, Episode 3, Hunting Together. As usual, if you enjoy this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. Guys, let's dive into hunting, shall we? Quick synopsis: in order to be the bigger power in this war that is looming over the horizon, Logan Roy decides he wants to buy out the rival news company to the chagrin of pretty much all of his employees. So how do you boost employee morale? A corporate retreat at a Hungarian castle where you hunt boar, and then it turns real weird real fast. As Bela Lugosi would say, he was hunting. That's from Son of Frankenstein. That's a reference for all you kids out there. Anyway, the corporate retreat turns into the stuff of nightmares, and this is just a really interesting episode. I think it's the most interesting one we've seen so far. The last one just got you mad and riled up and hating Kendall, and the first one got you sort of pitying Kendall and not knowing where things were going to swing. This one just sort of messes with your brain in many, many wonderful ways. And I think if someone were to ask me, okay, MVP, like who in this episode is your focus going to be on, I think I gotta say Tom. Tom was just out of the blue. He emerged from the depths of this episode when all was said and done, before credits rolled. Tom kind of peeked his head above the water of disgustingness, above the wasp water, and made me look at him in a different way. It made me think, Tom, you're kind of a decent dude when the mood strikes you. Because what Tom does in this episode is one of the first cases we have seen of just complete selflessness, or at least a very, very kind act being done by one of the main characters in Succession. I can't believe that actually happened. When Greg approaches Tom, and you can tell Greg is just petrified because he's been speaking to the biographer, and he's like, oh, I don't know. Can I trust you, man? Can I trust you? I'm sitting there on my couch, and I'm just like, oh my God, there is no way this is going to end well. Like, do not trust Tom. Why are you talking to Tom? He is a spineless sycophant. He's going to go running straight to Logan. And then it threw me for a loop, because we have this hilariously dark scene where he's telling Tom his secret, and we're all just face palming, and we're like, Greg, you idiot, you just sealed your own coffin here. But lo and behold, not only does Tom keep Greg safe, he goes out of his way to do so. He has an opportunity to save his own skin and be like, hey, Logan, Greg is the mole in the company. Greg was talking to the biographer behind your back. And that would exempt him from the humiliations and horrors of that dinner in that Hungarian castle. But instead, Tom just kind of sat back and was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to rat you out. And on top of that, he's doing this other task for his wife, for Shiv, that is making him extremely uncomfortable. But he's doing it anyway to help her and to further himself. Still, he's not completely selfless. But he's doing this completely frightening thing that goes against what he believes. Because he believes that this buyout is a good idea, and she wants him to be like, no, tell Dad that it's not a good idea. And as punishment from Logan for voicing whatever his disbeliefs are and whatnot, for just basically being there and speaking up, Tom and Greg and Carl, but more importantly Tom, are forced to play Boar on the Floor. And that's apparently a thing now. I don't know. Is this a real game that rich people play? If you're a rich person, please tell me if this is real. God, I hope it isn't. Because at this dinner, Logan Roy plumbs into new depths of cruelty and of just dickheadedness. Like, the amount of humiliation he subjects his top tier people to, and the readiness and willingness that they display. Like, they are so ready to do whatever he tells them to do. It makes you think, because your first instinct is to look at that television screen and say, oh my God, I would never do that. I would tell him where to go in a heartbeat. But then your second instinct is like, yeah, but how much power does he really have over them? Like, if they said no, if they stood up to this bully, he's literally one of the most powerful people on the planet. Like, what potentially could he actually do to make them regret it? And that's where the doubts come lingering in. I think there are a lot of people out there who are going to say that the boar on the floor scene took things too far, that it was cartoonish and silly and stupid. I think there are going to be some detractors. Personally, though, I think it walked a fine line, and it stayed true to what it was trying to convey. Because yes, it was cartoonish and silly, but at no point during the scene did I ever laugh. I saw nothing funny about this. I was just uncomfortable the whole time. I was sympathetic the whole time, and I was like, oh my god, this is wrong. What I'm watching is wrong. I shouldn't be seeing this happen. So I didn't feel like there was any sort of shark jumping going on. I didn't feel like the show veered too much in the sense of absurdist comedy. On the contrary, this scene was not a comedy as far as I'm concerned. This was a nightmare. This was a horror movie. This was like a Jordan Peele horror movie without the funny parts. And for the most part, the show has tried to display the Roy family as being all bark and no bite. But as we've seen last episode, they can bite. Those people at Vulture lost their jobs. Their stories are not going to end well. The Roys can bite. Logan Roy can bite. And I think that the second anybody stands up to him, he will bite. It's just a matter of how. And I think that factor of the unknown, that fear of what he may or may not do, is what's keeping these people from being as brave as we think we would be. And for Tom to be subjected to that humiliation because he's trying to do something for his wife and because he's trying to stick up for Greg, only to come home at the end of the weekend or whatever it was and find out that Shiv was unfaithful to him, even though they have this open marriage that apparently they're both cool with. I really felt sorry for Tom. Like, he looked devastated to find out that his wife was, sleeping around with somebody, even though they have this weird relationship that I can't begin to fathom. You can tell it hurts Tom. You can tell it hurts. Like, he is just, this is the lowest he has ever felt in his life. You can see it in his eyes. So for me, all of a sudden, Tom has become this character to watch. Before, he was this goofball who you didn't take seriously, and you're like, man, this guy is in over his head. Even just as recently as last episode, where he's talking about skulls and how much he wants to collect skulls and bring them to Logan as a sign of his fealty. Now you're just like, damn, Tom. Now I don't want to see him sink with the rest of the ship. Now I want to see Tom get out and find some redemption before it's too late. He has to get out of this toxic environment that is the Roy family and just escape. Same with Greg. Get out of there, Greg. Get out while you still can, buddy. The episode also brought to mind some scary real-life truths involving monopolies. Logan Roy wants to buy out the rival media company, and when I say that word, you have to understand, I said the rival, not a rival, because as Shiv puts it, it's slim pickings out there in the news world now. You have two major corporations, you've got a few articles online, and then you have angry women on Twitter. That sums up the real world too. And I can't help but think of companies like Disney, who, I love the stuff they put out. Disney puts out great content that I love to eat up. But at the same time, Disney also loves to eat up other companies. They are just a juggernaut monster like Pac-Man. They just continue to devour everything in their path, to the point where when there's nothing left to eat, what happens next? They are essentially the overlords of media, and that's not good. Monopolies are never a good thing. And what the Roy family is planning on doing is just such a thing, but it's with such a big rival, it upsets the balance of power. As Shiv puts it in a really eloquent way. She says, Waystar Royco buying out this media company is a snake eating a crocodile. It's too big. It's not going to fit. It's going to cause so many problems. And at the end of the day, it's just going to be bad for the snake. I love that metaphor so much. I think it's so apt. If that is the case, if that ends up happening, if Waystar Royco ends up buying this company, I can't wait to see the walls start to come crumbling down because of how big a mistake it is. So even though it's in the company's best interest not to buy them, I really want to see them buy them, because I want to see the effects of an unnecessary monopoly play out. I've never seen that before in movies or TV. I've never seen what happens when a company just gets too big for its britches and It can't contain its own power. And I would really love to see that put to film, or in this case, put to screen, because I would just love that. I would love to see the cause and effect. It would be like watching a train wreck. So please, writers of Succession, let this buyout take place. I'm so curious how that's going to look. So I'm hoping and praying that's how the rest of Season 2 plays out. But anyway, I've kept you here long enough. Thanks for watching my review of Season 2, Episode 3, Hunting. My name is Andrew Fantasia. I'll see you here next time. And until then, adios.